I often, for myself, have thought, I don't know, I'm changing my mind as we're talking here, that making amends, for example, making amends is a way of reprogramming your subconscious mind.
Well, when you find alignment with Source, Source never forgives anyone because Source never condemned anybody to begin
blame
with.
in the first place, yeah.
So when you feel the way Source feels about someone, you're in sync with Source. And you call it forgiveness, we call it alignment. And you get hooked on that feeling because it sure feels better to love them than to hate them.
Oh, yeah.
Esther says to us on more than one occasion, well, Abraham, maybe I need to tell you more about that person. Seems to me you're being a little unrealistic in your unconditional love for them. But unconditional love is loving because that's what you do. Conditional love is change that behavior and then I'll love you. And that is such a trap for you and for them because now everybody's trying to figure out what behavior is the appropriate behavior. Nobody feels very good. You're mad at each other because nobody's really getting it done. And meanwhile, Source is loving all of you and feeling very good about it.
I wanted to ask you about an experience that many of you know. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with leukemia. And I had a series of events and so on. And there's a gentleman on the planet living in Brazil, in Abidjan. His name goes by the name John of God in English. And now, who am I to ask you whether entities can enter into somebody else's body?
By the results of what you experienced.
Yeah, but I had this most amazing experience with John of God.
Because like Jesus, his vibration of well-being was dominant. And because your expectation didn't prevent it, in that alignment you experienced that.
So, I haven't been back to check blood levels or anything like that because I just go by how I feel and I feel fine. So, it's but so many things changed in that. But the major change after having this healing experience with this man who has treated some 40 million people over the last 40 years or so, was that a week after the experience, two of my children were with me on Maui. And when I walked out of the room, and I looked at they just looked totally different to me than they ever had before. They just looked like pure.
You were looking at them through the eyes of Source.
Yeah. And I mean, I was weeping. I mean, I put my arms around my daughter and told her how beautiful she is. I was holding my son. I looked at the ocean. It looked like a sea of love. I looked at the palm trees
to alignment. Influenced to alignment.
Yeah, it was so powerful. I mean, and what I think, my 71st birthday was a couple weeks later, and I woke up that morning and my birthday, I was in San Francisco and I was making a film about my father, about forgiveness and so on, called My Greatest Teacher. And all I wanted to do that day, and I never had a birthday like this, and I've never forgotten it, I went downstairs and I had a couple of $1,000s with me, and I went down and got $50 bills. A couple of $1,000s with him. And I went out to Union Square, and all I did all day long, from 7 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, was just embrace homeless people, little old ladies who were looking for plastic water bottles to take back, and people didn't smell very good, and people who were, it was like, and I was just in this state of bliss. It was such a pure love. All I wanted to do was give. I just wanted to give. I just wanted to serve. And that impacted me so much that, it's why I wear love on my shirt. It's why I'm writing about divine love. It's why I'm here speaking to you who teaches us about something called divine love. And what a thrill it is for me to just be here in your presence. But it was all, and what it seemed to me was happened is like when you're told that you have something like leukemia, there is fear associated with it. not fear of dying so much, but just this cancer. It's that word, cancer of the blood, and and there's so much of it in our society, so much of it. And I have a dear friend, her name's Anita Moorjani, who's written a book about her near-death experience called Dying to Be Me. And she talked about her cancer and how serious it was and how she was able to come back from it. And she said, it's just all fear. It's just all fear. It felt like the entities that came to me through John of God came in and took the fear, whatever that fear was related to that, and just removed it and replaced it with love.
We would say it a little differently than the removal part. No, the emphasis on the love part, yes. Mm-hmm. So that the vibration of well-being.
So when he says that it felt like something that came over him, what Dr. Wayne Dyer is referring to is pretty much he's talking about this source energy that he actually opened up to. I wouldn't say that he so to speak let it just now get in it. I would say that he opened up to it. He allowed it to actually be washed over him, so to speak. He actually let it in. He actually was more aware of it and receiving it to come in. And what happens is that, based off of what he's saying, is that it had kind of washed over him, and now he's feeling this love all over him. And he wants to go out and he wants to touch people. He wants to give people money. He wants to do this and he wants to do all these caring things to others because he's feeling that this source energy is basically has come over him. So this is basically what he's talking about, what he's feeling. Yeah.